I started it, but it ain't do nothing. What we got going on? Let me know if y'all can hear me. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Let me know if we rocking. Let me know if we rocking. I don't know what the heck going on with this live, gang. I don't know what's going on. What's good, gang? Let me know if we live. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Let me know if y'all can see me. Another emergency live. What's going on? Lock in. Lock in. Are we live? What's popping? Are we live? What's good? Another emergency live. I gotta apologize in advance. I did not expect to have emergency live tonight. Salute the Shinnikis, Nazir in the building, Brandon, Donta, Raven. Listen, man. Can y'all hear me? Jess with the whole mess. Homebody, let me know if y'all still in the building. I had to start it over. Holly B in the building. Lock in. Miss Pittsburgh, lock in. I gotta apologize in advance. I did not know we were doing a live tonight, an emergency live, another emergency. I'm sorry, gang. I had no idea. I had no idea that this was going to go down like this. I had no idea. Like, how could I possibly know that Afrika Bambaataa would pass away today? Salute. Salute, salute. I might have lost some people because I started the live, but it didn't do nothing. So I stopped it and started it again. Let me know who's in here. Black Mall, I see you. Homebody, you here? Let me know. Before we get going, I want to make sure we locked in. Vagabond, I see you. This thing gonna be touchy, but not really. Right? Afrika Bambaataa passed away today, right? Afrika Bambaataa passed away. Is my Challz channel working? What the heck going on? Let me see something, gang. Let me know if my Challz channel working. Straight knocking crazy. I don't see my chat. Y'all on my Challz channel? Let me know. All right, there we go. Challz channel working. All right, gang. All right. You know how this technology is. If you're on the Challz channel, go out and go back in. It look like it's bugging out. Go out and go back in. All right. I think some of y'all might be stuck on the other broadcast because I think it went up twice. Gang. But listen. Yeah, I think it went up twice. My bad. Let me let the other channel know. Hold on. Give me a second. We're gonna get this going. Let me get this going. We're gonna get this going. So anybody that's on the other channel, hop back on. I had to just refresh it, gang. Just refresh it. That was on me. That wasn't you, homebody. Salute, homebody in the building. I see Mr. God got me, Mim in the building. Maurice, listen. Emergency meeting tonight, dog. I did not know that I was going to have to be talking about Afrika Bambaataa tonight, gang. But if you know, you know, you already know. All right. Leave that other chat. Come back in. All right. We're gonna have this conversation because this is long overdue. And what I did see today, gang, let me tell you what made me feel like I had to do this live. I'm just gonna be 100% honest, gang. This gonna be the realest, like Tupac say, the realest shit I ever wrote. This gonna be probably the realest live I ever done. Right? I might offend some political connects, and that's okay. But this gonna be the realest live I ever done. I promise you. I ain't never had a live this real. We about to get really real. But salute to the people in the chat. I see you, Zombie, Elevated Gamer, Chris. Right? It's scary to get real. I don't know how much y'all know about hip hop, but we gonna go back, right? Let's go all the way back with this one, dog. So I'm gonna be really 100 on this one because this one is low-key personal. This low-key personal. Let me start at the start. First, I'm gonna talk about Afrika Bambaataa. I'm gonna talk about KRS-One. And I did see somebody in the other chat, right? Salute to, I believe it was in the chat before it started. I can't remember the name of the person, but it's gonna be all love in here. I see you, girly jock. And that person, I believe it was Blessed Child or something like that, said, I don't want to hear, or I'm not gonna stand for no Afrika Bambaataa slander. Before I even went live, I saw that, right? Which is, it is what it is. But it's not going to be slander, but it's going to be some real talk. Okay? I'm going to be very respectful of Bambaataa and his legacy, but at the same time, I'm going to be very, very real. Okay? And if that happens to be slander, then it might just be slander, but I'm going to be a buck. 100% buck. And I know there's a lot of Gen Zers in here that don't know who the hell we talking about. All right, and we're gonna cover that too. I'm gonna talk like I got this movie. One of my favorite movies is from back in the day. It's silly, it's a silly movie. It's called Galaxy Quest. And one of those lines, I don't know if y'all ever seen it, but it's like a fake Star Trek movie. And one of those lines they say in the movie, he says, explain it to them as if you would a child, right? So tonight I'm going to explain what we all think we know and don't know. I got the Rolling Stone article up. I got Wikipedia. I got some videos. We even gonna get into KRS-One, right? But we're not going to be sugarcoating this tonight. So we're gonna get busy, like my guy from Frosty the Snowman said back in the day when Frosty and Santa made him write a 1,000 lines because he was naughty. He said, I got to get busy. So we're gonna get busy. This is a hip-hop channel, so I gotta talk about Afrika Bambaataa, gang, and what he means to this culture and what he shouldn't mean to this culture. Right? We got it. We got a whole conversation right now separating the man from his deeds, separating the man from the music. They hitting us with that with Kanye, right? That's what they trying to tell us. Separate the man from his music. Afrika Bambaataa passed away at 67 from complications of cancer, right? And I'm gonna play that. I got a clip from Hassan Campbell. I'm gonna play that clip because he put up they put a snippet up of him saying his rest in whatever you want to call it to. I'm not gonna rest in peace or rest in piss, however you want to talk to it, however you want to call it. But Hassan Campbell, he got a little clip, and I'm gonna play his clip, and we're gonna talk about some of my legends that have already spoke on Afrika Bambaataa today. All right. I'm just gonna be honest. I some of you don't know who we're talking about. A lot of you Gen Zers may not know who we're talking about. But he died. Now you're gonna say, okay, Challz, why are we having an emergency live for a 67-year-old rapper that most of us may not even know one song? Well, we've been talking about the culture for a while. I always talk about the culture. I got on Jay-Z last week, get on Drake all the time, get on J. Cole, got on Kanye. I get on a lot of people about the culture, and I celebrate people like the Clips, K. Dot, people who stand with the culture, right? It's a lot of people that do good things and do good deeds, and they carry the culture well, right? But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave it to you to decide how you want to feel about Afrika Bambaataa. But I'm gonna just lay out the facts, right? I'm gonna lay out the facts. So let me just start at the start, just for full disclosure. Just for full disclosure, I don't take lightly to black men abusing kids. If you spend any time on this channel, OG back in the day with me, I've been fully open and honest that when I was a kid, a black man abused me as a little kid, like 5, right? So I don't play with that at all. I don't have no problems telling you that, right? But at the end of the day, when someone comes out with that as a survivor or whatever you want to say, I understand. And I don't take it lightly when people say that. And I know that a grown man, especially a grown black man, is not going to come out and say that lightly. All right. Now, I wasn't a teenager, I was a little kid, right? But even as a little teeny kid, I knew that that was wrong, right? So I even have a song about it on my one of my records. The damn, I can't remember the damn record, but it's on DSPs, right? On Prodigal, right? Me and Bugsy Black, we got a collab album called Prodigal, and one of the songs speaks on that. So I take this very serious. So let's just start there before we go any further. That's who I am. I don't play about this, right? I don't play about this because 5-year-old Challz ain't gonna let me play about it. So when someone has that on their jacket, oh yeah, we gotta stop the room and figure this out. Okay, so let me just start there. Okay, me and 5-year-old Challz, we ain't fucking around. So I saw my I'm gonna be honest, I saw my goal, one of my goals, Chuck D. Chuck D spawned this whole video, gang. Let me just say this. Chuck D, my goat from Public Enemy, Flavor Flav, right? Chuck D spawned this interview that this live that you're watching. Chuck D is one of my heroes, gang. But Chuck D, I'm gonna say it was ill-advised. I gotta be honest. We're gonna be here for a while, gang. Get you some trout, some bass, fish. We're gonna be here for a while. Some grits, okay? Cornbread, whatever you need to hold you down. I see a couple of you cooking dinner, right? And I appreciate you being here with me. So we're gonna be here for a while. But what spawned this? This live right here, right? First of all, I didn't even know Afrika Bambaataa had died. I went on my Twitter, opened up my Twitter at the very top. Chuck D, my guy, my goat, right? Because of what he did for the culture. When I say the word culture, Chuck D is right there. Before most people had heard of Chuck D, I heard a tape of Chuck D when he was still a DJ on the radio. Him and Flavor Flav. They had a radio show. And they came out with the record. I believe it was I don't remember what, Louder Than a Bomb or something like that. Before they really popped. They were about to come out. Right? And I heard Chuck, I heard Flavor Flav. This was before they even came out. The only thing, I don't even know if they was named Public Enemy yet. But my 98 Oldsmobile is super, all that. Right? This is when I first was getting into hip hop, and Chuck D, he worked his way into legendary status. So I'm going to preference this. Chuck didn't do, listen, I'm going to read what he wrote. And when he wrote that, and I went in the comments, and they immediately, like they do, jumped on Chuck. But I was like, Chuck, please don't do this. But what I understand what he was doing, and he made a mistake. And this is why I'm doing this live for my old heads. Because immediately after that, I put a post up on Twitter saying all my old heads that want to get out here and try to show love and respect to Bambaataa, and you want to shout him out and say anything good about him, let's slow down. Because I know you guys are loyal, old school, and he did this for you, that, or the third. And salute, me and Chuck follow each other on Twitter, so this is no disrespect to Chuck, whether this get back to him or not, but I have to be honest, right? I love Chuck D. I gotta be honest, though. And I'm going to be honest about KRS-One. Chuck D wrote this, and you can say if this is whatever, right? And sometimes we got to talk to our elders and tell them how we feel. He ain't that much, you know what I'm saying? He ain't that old, but we got to talk to him. Because sometimes our older, you got to think, our elders come from a different time where it really was about loyalty to the end. And if a guy earned your loyalty and your trust, and especially if he helped you build something as magnificent as hip hop, you're going to feel an inner burning from that old sense of loyalty. Not now. I'm talking about from the 60s and 70s and what we went through as a people together. When hip hop was coming up and they saw the struggle, they struggled together. So Chuck is looking at it from that point. So Chuck is not going to let a guy like Afrika Bambaataa, knowing how he saw what he did, he's not going to let him pass away without saying something. But we're in a new era, Chuck, where we hold people accountable no matter what they did. So Chuck tried to word this in a special way, and I understand what he was trying to do because I understand, because I'm from that era to a degree, and I understand what he was trying to do. He was trying to pay homage and do it respectfully. But Chuck don't understand, or he may do and just don't care. In this era, when you are accused of these heinous things, we can't carry it like we did in the 80s. Where I don't care about all that. He's a pioneer to the cult. No, Chuck. No. When there's several black men coming out saying that guy did this, that, and the third to me, we gotta listen. And when we go to honor him and when he falls and passes away, we gotta, if at all, either we gonna be silent or we're gonna go full on and honor him. But we can't try to half honor him and then put it in like words and be like, I'm not going to, let me read this and I'm going to tell you what he said. Again, this is my guy, Chuck. I hope you guys can hear what I'm saying. He said, fact and truth. One of the founders of hip hop. I'm keeping it to the culture and thankful for the grace he gave me and my crew and the accomplishments that so many built upon. I'll leave it there. As I always taught, never be quick to condemn and always be slow to judge. Rest in beats. Now that's pretty tame, right? If you on face value, he didn't say much. In Chuck's eyes, I didn't say much. I just acknowledged him. And that he is a part of the culture. He's a part. But Chuck, the part where you said, never be quick to condemn and always be slow to judge. Chuck, my friend. And like I said, Chuck is my GOAT. It's 2026, Chuck. We can't be saying never be quick to condemn. He's been getting accused of this since the 70s. Okay? I'm just going to be honest. We're going to be real in here tonight, Mike G. We're going to be real in here tonight. We're going to be real in here tonight. And I'm trying to get to the rapper who said it. But a rapper from that era. I'm trying to remember who said it. But he said, we've been knew this since the 70s. I'm trying to get to the rapper who said it. Let me find it. Melly Mel. I don't see it, but I do remember that the article quoted Melly Mel as saying, "We been knew this since the 70s." I'm not here to blow up Chuck D, but I'm just being 100% of why I did this live tonight. I love Chuck D. Listen, it's few artists or hip hoppers or rappers or whatever you want to call it that get more respect from me than Chuck D. But Chuck, you cannot go on here and say never be quick to condemn and always be slow to judge. How slow should we be, Chuck? How slow should we be? I'm just going to be honest. I'll say it on repeat. I love Chuck D. But gang, I'm not here to coddle people and make people feel comfortable. I have a clip from Hassan Campbell, who is one of his victims. They have an ongoing. Hassan Campbell blew up on YouTube from calling out Afrika Bambaataa. Now, I know it's people that feel a way about Hassan Campbell. This ain't about him, right? This is about a bigger issue in the Black community, in all communities, right? We got a lot of things to discuss. And what we tend to do is make it like it's about the person or the messenger, right? And I see you in the comments saying the comments on Hassan Campbell's video is whatever, but people are awful, especially on Twitter. I told you that all the time. Half these people making these comments diddlers their goddamn self. Let's just be honest. So I've learned that the comments are people that would never really say these things in real life anyway. So I know they're going to have crazy comments under Hassan Campbell's thing. He knows that. But Hassan gives it to a lot of people. He's famous for turning people's TV off. So he encourages a lot of what he can take what he gets. Put it like that. Hassan Campbell is a very he's aggressive guy. So a lot of the comments he's going to get under his video, they're going to come from people who've watched him tear apart other people. So Hassan Campbell got a really nice house and a really nice car from being on YouTube talking a whole lot of shit. So I'm not going to feel bad for Hassan Campbell, okay? But I'm going to play Hassan Campbell, who is one of his victims, according to Hassan Campbell. There's a whole lot with this story, right? And I see you, Jess. I get it. He has to deal with it, and it's bad. And people are heartless. Some people have never had to deal with this in their life. Some people have, and some people are the ones doing it. So you combine all of that, you're going to get people that's insensitive because we're in an insensitive world, right? I wouldn't be able to tell my story if I was worried about what these people are going to say. Okay. End of the day, it is what it is. So let me play Hassan Campbell's his response to learning about the passing of Afrika Bambaataa, and we're going to keep it moving. He's been on here for years trying to get Bambaataa in some sort of legal jam. But let me play this, and we can have this conversation.
I just want to take the time out. Rest in peace. This child predator, whoever walked this earth, Afrika Bambaataa. Before there was an Epstein list, there was an Afrika Bambaataa's Black Book. Before there was R. Kelly, my mind is telling me no, but my body is telling me yeah. Yeah, before there was an R. Kelly, raised by Dr. York, one of the greatest predators that ever walked this earth. Rest in peace to Afrika Bambaataa, the greatest child predator ever. I'm going live at 5.
So that was Hassan Campbell, right? And people feel a way about Hassan Campbell. That's fine. I'm not here to talk about Hassan Campbell. Hassan Campbell don't have a legacy in hip hop. Afrika Bambaataa does, right? But that's important because he's one of his accusers. All right. Hassan Campbell is one of Afrika Bambaataa's many accusers. And I got the article. I got a couple things I want to discuss, but I don't play with that when you're telling me grown men are coming out saying that this guy did this, that, and the third. We're in an age where people are going to make fun of that, right? People, because people sit there, they troll, they say things to get reactions, because a lot of niggas' lives are miserable. So they're going to crack on that and find humor in that, right? But we just watch them die slow because their karma's bad. So we can't really worry about people that's going to have a problem with us talking about the accusations of Afrika Bambaataa, okay? Now, the reason Hassan Campbell said that, because according to Hassan Campbell, right, which is why he gets a lot of stuff thrown at him, he was older. Afrika Bambaataa allegedly pretty much raised Hassan Campbell. And Hassan Campbell was older when he was dealing with Afrika Bambaataa, like a teenager. And Bambaataa kept grooming him for years and years. So a lot of people make fun of, they attack Hassan Campbell. I mean, partly because he comes at people very, very aggressive and harsh, and he's very yeah, he don't play no games either, so he get what he gives. But they come at him because he wasn't little Challz, he wasn't 5 when his stuff was going on. He was older. So people think he should have been accountable for what's going on. Now, victims of abuse will tell you it ain't necessarily about your age. Okay? So we're gonna have the conversation, but some of my veterans, some of my idols, they don't want to believe it. They spent years calling out the people who spoke on Afrika Bambaataa's alleged misgivings and his abuse of young boys. But I just told you, Melly Mel said we knew for years. I'm gonna have this conversation. But I implore my elder statesmen like Chuck D and others. We can't be separating the music from the man because he helped shape the culture that we got. Two things can be true. You can be a hip hop legend and you can be a predator. You can be both. If I'm not mistaken, that's what Melly Mel said. I'm gonna get to the article. I'm almost 100%. I got a whole bunch of information right here. Right? I got a whole bunch of information. And we're going to talk about Afrika Bambaataa. Because the more you know, the more you know. I'm gonna start here because we need to have this conversation. Yes, Afrika Bambaataa is a legendary figure in this culture. That is 100% fact. Ain't no two ways about it. Ain't no if, ands, or buts about it. Let me read who he is, and then we're gonna get to business. Lance Taylor, known professionally as Afrika Bambaataa, was born in April 17th, 1957. He died April 9th, 2026. He was professionally known as Afrika Bambaataa. He was an American DJ, rapper, and record producer. He was notable for releasing a series of genre-defining electro tracks in the 1980s that influenced the development of hip-hop culture. Bambaataa was one of the originators of breakbeat DJing. That's crucial, gang. That's a very important, he's very important to the culture. Through his co-opting of his street gang Black Spades into the music and culture-orientated organization Universal Zulu Nation, he has helped spread hip-hop culture throughout the world. In May 2016, Bambaataa left his position as head of the Universal Zulu Nation due to multiple allegations of child sexual abuse, dating as far back as the 1970s. Born Lance Taylor in the Bronx, New York City, to Jamaican and Barbadian immigrants, Bambaataa grew up in the Bronx River Projects. With an activist mother and uncle as a child, he was exposed to the Black Liberation Movement, and witnessed debates between his mother and uncle regarding the conflicting ideologies in the movement. He was exposed to his mother's excessive and eclectic record collection. Gangs in the area became the law, clearing their turf of drug dealers as he was growing up, assisting with community health programs, and both fighting and partying to keep members and turf. So he was raised like an activist. He was raised like an activist. And what ended up happening with Afrika Bambaataa, he put all that stuff to work with the Zulu Nation. He became a very strong proponent of liberation and things of that nature, and using music to unify people. So we can't take that away from him. He did that. Peace, unity, love, and having fun. He's one of the people who did that. He's one of the people that gave us hip hop as we know it. Right? So we have to acknowledge that on some level, on a very real level. Right? Now, the thing about it is that enough to ignore everything else that's on the table, the allegations and the things that people say he's done? Maybe. Maybe. I want to have this conversation because I have an article here from the Rolling Stone magazine in which they remind us that Melly Mel indeed say that. I'm looking right at it. We're going to read it. And I'm going to read KRS-One's role in this. Another one of my legends. Another GOAT. Right? Everybody falls short. Everybody makes mistakes. I don't think that the KRS situation was a mistake I think that he meant that because he stands by Bambaataa. The same way Chuck D meant be slow to judge because they stand by him because of what he's done for the culture. I think my old heads, I think my elder statesmen got so much love and respect for this culture, and they were there when it was created. If you had a hand in that, they refused to remove your hand from it. Afrika Bambaataa helped a lot of people. So I believe that a lot of people feel obligated to help him. And a lot of people didn't want to believe the allegations and they refused to believe the allegations. But I'm going to tell you something, gang. I'm just gonna be honest, like it's me and you. It ain't really too many grown black men that's gonna say this happened to me for clout. Just so you know, ain't too many of them coming out the woodwork to say he did this to me as a child on end for years, only to recant. Some of them did recant, but you don't understand the pressure they was under to recant. Some of these guys. Now I know some of the people gonna say, Charles, how do you know? I don't know. But only thing in this world that you can go on is what you're being told and what that tells your instincts and your gut. And there are a lot of things that were said about this situation that makes my gut say, okay, I don't need to hear no more. Especially when he not saying nothing. And they're gonna say he's denied it vigorously, has he? They're gonna say that, but I don't remember too many interviews of Al Bambaataa speaking out on his own behalf. I told you, gang, we're gonna be 100% honest on this one. How Tupac say this be the realest shit I ever wrote. All my true motherfuckers know this be the realest shit I ever spoke against all odds. I'm not gonna go into against all odds, but that is one of my, I believe, you know what? That might be my favorite Tupac record of all time. Against all odds. Gen Zers, if you never heard Against All Odds by Tupac, go listen to that and come back. But this is the realest shit I ever wrote. Afrika Bambaataa is accused of some heinous acts, gang. Right? And I know people lie, cheat, and steal, make up heinous stories, say things for clout to bring people down. Right? And at the end of the day, none of that really happened. Afrika Bambaataa went years without any consequence. Afrika Bambaataa didn't have to really do any consequence until 2016 for accusations from stuff he did in the 70s. It was a different time, though. The 90s, nobody was going to listen to that shit. Early 2000s, you tripping. We ain't trying to hear that shit. But when the internet came and things started to get a little more out in the open, people started to listen a little more. You got to understand, gang, we from an era back in them days, right? Back in them days, we had people that did this stuff, and our families would just say, keep the kids away from them. Thank you, mods. I see them saying thank you, mods, and I appreciate you. We don't need no tomfoolery here tonight. Anybody talking crazy, just block them. We're not having no nonsense tonight. Okay? End of the day, we don't just, and I don't know what homeboy's talking about, what y'all got going on about Black Americans. That's the problem. People just want you to do anything you want to do because you got this skin color. Shit like that. This how people's uncles are able to take them in basements and do shit to them. Because people don't want to call them out. All right? So at the end of the day, we're going to be 100% real up in here, my guy. All that hiding in the shadows and acting like you don't know what we're talking about, we're not doing that. And all that Twitter shit y'all do, where your whole purpose is to half listen and just say mean shit, we're not doing that tonight. All right. The people in here we want to have a real conversation. All that sucker shit, you can keep that shit over there on Twitter. A lot of these guys is really soft and they chumps. And they come in the comments just to say some fuck shit. Right? Niggas' lives miserable. They miserable, gang. They miserable. Sharing a room with like 5 people. They miserable. They lives fucked up. So they got to come on here and say some weird shit. Right? So we're not doing that tonight. We're going to have a real conversation. Just like I said, I love Chuck D. I love KRS-One, but we're going to get to it. Let me read this article on Rolling Stone. We're going to get to it. And then we're going to get to KRS-One because what KRS said is very important to this conversation because it's the typical denial when you like someone, when they're your friend, or you think that they're special, or you think that they're important. And KRS got backlash when he said all this shit. But when you think somebody is above reproach, and that's the thing with hip hop, sports, right? We thought OJ was above reproach. A lot of guys, we because you could shoot a ball or run fast or rap good, make great music. We want to act like you're above reproach, and you can't be touched. We can't say nothing bad about you. You get the asshole in the comments. You talking about black men? I told you all week they've been telling me I have a slave mentality because I just don't blindly support Kanye West. He's black. Why don't you support him? Calling me a COON and all kind of shit like that. Gang, you gotta understand. I know how dumb these people are, gang. It's like a 6th grader trying to argue with a preschooler. Like you so out of touch with what's going on. And for me to even raise my voice make me look silly talking to you. So I'm talking to the grown-ups right now. I'm not talking to little ass kids that want to get somebody to chuckle at a goofy comment. We talking to grown-ups right now. All right. Hip-hop pioneer Afrika Bambaataa dead at 67. DJ, rapper, and producer faced multiple widespread accusations of sexual abuse by Mozzie Reeves for Rolling Stone magazine. Afrika Bambaataa, the visionary DJ, rapper, producer, and activist who became one of the first global hip-hop stars and later faced multiple widespread accusations of sexual abuse, has died at age 67. A cause of death was not immediately available. Today, we acknowledge the transition of a foundational architect of hip-hop culture, Afrika Bambaataa, Curtis Blow wrote in a statement as an executive director of the Hip Hop Alliance, a labor force founded by himself alongside Chuck D, KRS, and others. Quote, he helped shape the early identity of hip-hop as a global movement rooted in peace, unity, love, and having fun. His vision transformed the Bronx into the birthplace of a culture that now reaches every corner of the world. At the same time, we recognize that his legacy is complex and has been the subject of serious conversations within our community. End quote. So I do understand. I am a grown-up. I understand that they got their back against the wall. They got their back against the wall. I'm going to be honest. Curtis Blow and Chuck D and KRS, they got their back against the wall because they have to acknowledge what he did for the hip-hop community, but they also got to be sensitive to what he's accused of. They are let me put this back. They are part of the Hip Hop Alliance, right? So they got to walk a thin line when they acknowledge Afrika Bambaataa's existence. But they still got to understand what he's accused of. Can't tiptoe. Right? So they trying to tiptoe, and I understand, but they can't. You got to understand where it's going, what's going on. And I don't envy them, but at the same time, this is me and I got to do my job. I feel like we're still going to have people saying that Afrika Bambaataa is a legend And some people going to get in my comments and not crazy. You can have discourse in here, but you're not going to say disgusting things in this chat. We got mods just before y'all write anything crazy. We do need to have a people that if they're going to speak, let them speak their mind, but we don't want you saying disgusting shit in here. Okay? Now, two things can be true, like I said earlier. He is a pioneer. Some say he's a pioneer, and some say he's a predator. And we got to discuss both. We got to keep it a buck. Right? I would be remiss if I came in here and didn't acknowledge little 5-year-old Challz what he thinks. So I'm not going to get in here and play games on some hip hop. I've been doing it all week with Jay-Z, the little shit he said. So I'm damn sure not going to play games with this. All right? Let me continue. As a recording artist, Bambaataa's legacy rests on Planet Rock. The seminal 1982 12-inch he recorded with the Soul Sonic Force and backing vocalist Planet Patrol. Great record. That record will get you moving right now. Great record. I was a little kid when that record came out. Produced by Arthur Baker, the gold certified single launched Bambaataa into public consciousness around the globe. Its electric sound largely influenced by the German outfit Kraftwerk. Salute the Kraftwerk. And just a side note, last week when these people were arguing with me on Twitter, because I speak for the culture, gang. I don't know what these guys understand or don't, but I speak for the culture. And when Jay-Z said breakdancing was dead, I went on a full tirade. I started posting videos of people breakdancing. I posted these black guys breakdancing, going nuts, and people got in my comments and said, because they were trying to defend Jay-Z blindly, and they said that the guys on the video weren't even dancing to hip-hop. I said, the problem with that is you don't know what you're talking about because the people that used to break dance were dancing to EDM. That's what they said in the comments. This was EDM. This wasn't even hip-hop. Well, dummy, if you knew hip-hop like you thought, you would understand that a German outfit named Kraftwerk used to make music that was electric, and the break dancers used to dance to that. So when you say dumb shit like they ain't even dancing to hip-hop, you're showing your age and you're showing that you don't know this culture. And Bambaataa was a part of that, but he had help. And it was people that was using electronic dance music, making records that they were breaking to. Okay? Let's just finish. Inspired a years-long trend of electro rap and dance pop records in the mid-'80s. Generations of musicians from Missy Elliott to City Girls drew inspiration from the song because Missy Elliott remade that song. Rap artists shouted out Bambaataa in their verses. Others, like the Chemical Brothers, dedicated entire songs to him, like It Began in Africa. Once called a philosopher king by Rock and Roll Confidential, Bambaataa made recordings steeped in an Afro-futurist sensibility, with references to Egyptology and Black cosmology. As a DJ, he boasted a reputation as master of records, one which tastes and selections encompassed a wide gamut of soulful funk, boogie rock, electro break, and all sorts of novelty quiche. I believe that's kitsch. The Universal Zulu Nation, an organization he co-founded in the late 70s, sprouted chapters across the world and organized annual anniversary parties that featured top acts from the music industry. So the Soul Sonic Force, Afrika Bambaataa are very important to this culture. We are not taking anything from him. He is influential in making what we grew into a multi-billion-dollar industry what it is today. Let me continue. When the term hip-hop, a term credited to the late Keith Cowboy Wiggins from Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, was popularized in the 80s, the genre's Bronx pioneers also utilized names like B-Beats and hip-hip. It was Bambaataa who helped define it as 4 elements: DJing, graffiti, breakdancing, and rapping. And gang, that's why I was so livid last week when we had a full-on attack on the culture. J. Cole said the culture is a buzzword. And then Jay-Z came out and said, out of the 4 elements that Bambaataa helped shape, the DJing, graffiti, breakdancing, and rapping, the only one left that was viable was rapping. And I had a full-on meltdown saying that the reason Jay-Z, and that's my guy too, a lot of my legends is talking crazy, gang. This is why I'm here. Ain't no man, ain't nobody, ain't no one man above the crew, right? Didn't they say that on Juice? Ain't no one man above the crew. So I said that when Jay-Z said it wasn't nothing left but rapping, I said that's because Jay-Z is an out-of-touch businessman. He's a billionaire, and rapping is the only thing he can monetize. So therefore, he's going to promote the rapping. And I still need them tickets. So I think the show already passed. I missed it. Right? I can check my brothers with love. I can tap y'all on the cheek. I can tap Chuck. I can tap Jay. I can tap whoever. KRS, we gonna get to him. Right? But let me continue. Prolific to a fault, Bambaataa issued dozens of albums throughout his career. While he never equaled the success of Planet Rock in the U.S., he continued to enjoy chart success overseas, notably with Reckless, 1998 UK top 20 hit with British reggae pop band UB40, as Afrika Bambaataa and Family, Africa Shocks, a 1999 UK top hit by, wait, somebody added this. This is not. By electronic duo Left Field that featured him as a guest. Meanwhile, journalists often refer to him, Kool Herc, and Grandmaster Flash as an unofficial holy trinity, key to hip-hop's growth into the most important American cultural movement at the end of the 20th century. They're saying that hip-hop was one of the most important cultural movements, and it is. It dominates music to this day, and those guys were a big part of it, right? We're not going to debate. People debate Kool Herc's relevance. They debate this, that, and the third. And Grandmaster Flash does not get enough respect for what he's done with records and scratching. This guy's a scientist. So if you guys ever have time to actually just learn some stuff, go watch the documentary on Grandmaster Flash. There's quite a few movies out there, how he literally made sound waves. He researched sound waves and figured out how to scratch records perfectly. And he did a lot of scientific stuff. This guy was like an engineer, college educated guy. So Grandmaster Flash is very important to the culture. But let me continue. So this is where we're going to get into the allegations and accusations. Me personally, that train of not believing the accusations, that's left the station for me. Just going to be, I heard too much, right? You know how they say, I heard too much. I seen too much. I just heard too much. I've watched so much nonsense about this. I used to watch a lot of videos on this guy, on this whole thing. I heard too much. It's too much. The truth is out there, gang. Just like with Umar. If you really want to know about Dr. Umar, just take some time. All of that shit's out there. The people still get in my comments when I make these Dr. Umar videos, telling me, "Oh, you're trying to bring down a black man." I'm like, "Are you paying attention? Do you understand what's going on?" So when there's enough information out there, you don't need to question a lot of shit no more. I'm just gonna be honest. And I'm sure some people out there really not feeling this, probably got mad thumbs down. They really not feeling that I'm saying this, but it is what it is, gang. I got to keep it a buck. Let me continue. In March 2016, and this ain't slander, gang, this is my opinion. For the people that's going to say, "Oh, I ain't taking no slander, no Bambaataa slander." I don't think I've slandered this man in the slightest. I'm reading news articles and telling you my opinion. So I have not slandered him. All right? Anything I say on here gonna piss somebody off, no matter who I'm talking about. I pissed off every fan base because I keep it a buck. Okay? So whatever I say, somebody not gonna like it. But I didn't start this channel to figure out how many people gonna like me. Okay, just so you know. Let me read this article. In March 2016, Ronald Savage, a former crate boy who carried the DJ's records to gigs, told New York radio jock Troy Terrain. Is that Star? Is that Star? Troy Terrain? I think that's Star. So he might have been talking to Star. I could be wrong. Somebody in the comments tell me, are we talking about Star from Star and Buck Wild? Is he Troy Terrain? That Bambaataa sexually abused him in 1981. Savage's allegations prompted widespread press coverage, and in a statement given to Rolling Stone, Bambaataa said, quote, "These allegations are baseless and are a cowardly attempt to tarnish my reputation and legacy," which you would expect someone to say. End quote. Let me see, was that Star? Y'all let me know if that was Star. That was the DJ that he told, because that's important. Several men subsequently accused Bambaataa and other Zulu Nation leaders of sexually abusing them as teenagers, and at least one John Doe lawsuit was filed in 2021. Meanwhile, the Zulu Nation leadership publicly distanced itself from him. Now, listen to what I just said. Right? Salute. Homeboy said it's well, I don't know if it's homeboy or girl, but said it's definitely Star. Who's that? Kenny 8626. So yeah, that was Star from Star and Buckwild. He has his own channel. He might be live right now talking about the same goddamn thing. Okay. So Star is involved with this whole situation. So I'm sure he has a lot to say too. I think he's been on Bambaataa for a while too. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not sure. I haven't touched base with Star in a while about the African Bambaataa, but I think he used to have an issue with Bambaataa too, right? Says, yeah, he still has that YouTube channel. He goes live almost every day, if I'm not mistaken. All right. So let me continue. Meanwhile, the Zulu Nation leadership publicly distanced itself from him. Savage would later recant his allegations. So that's important. Savage recanted his allegations, but there's reasons for that. But let me continue. So you got to pay attention. The Zulu Nation leadership publicly distanced itself from him. Okay? That's very important because he's a big part of that. So for them to move away from him means something. Let me continue. Reaction in the hip-hop community to Bambaataa's stunning fall was divided. Melly Mel claimed that people within the scene had known about it for years. This is Melly Mel. And I know we like to take shots at Melly Mel and clown him for this, that, and the third. We know he hates everything and everybody. Melly Mel hates 99% of the rappers that came after him. We know that. We know he hates Eminem. We know that. But Melly Mel was there. And Melly Mel can speak to this situation. Let me continue. A Zulu Nation spokesperson, TC Islam, resigned from the organization in protest. A year later, he was murdered in Atlanta under mysterious circumstances. Dozens of one-time Zulu Nation chapters, some of which existed since the 80s, defected to form a new organization called the Zulu Union. All right, gang? Y'all still with me? This is where we at so far. All right. Let me see what's going on in the chat. And I'm sure Star, if I know Star, he's already on it. He probably going live right now, to be honest. Let me continue with what's going on. However, KRS-One, whose Boogie Down Productions classic, South Bronx, or South Bronx, right? One of the greatest disc records in history. What happened? What'd I do? I got you. I got you. Say less. Let me continue. However, KRS-One, whose Boogie Down Productions classic South Bronx recounts hip-hop history's early development, defended Bambaataa's legacy. Quote, "For me, if you keep it hip-hop, nothing can be taken away from Afrika Bambaataa." He told the podcast Drink Champs back in whatever year. History is history. Now, I'm going to divert from that article because I got a KRS tidbit I want to talk about. And this is important. Because KRS-One, to this day, if you ask me my top 10, I say I don't do top 10s no more. I do top 12. And if you ask me what my top 12 is, KRS-One, I rotate him between Rakim and KRS-One. One or two, it goes those two guys. That's just me. I'm from that era where KRS-One was one of the best rappers. So I do not take it lightly about KRS-One, right? But when he went on that Drink Champs episode and was very dismissive, right? About the situation when they asked him about Bambaataa. You guys got to understand, Bambaataa was quiet, silent on it for years. Years. So you couldn't get to him, you get to the people around him. And when they would ask certain people, some of them wouldn't say nothing, but some of them would comment. Chris KRS was very dismissive, right? And I don't even think I have the exact comment that he made. I think it's right here. Okay, I got it. KRS-One faced severe backlash in 2016 for defending hip-hop pioneer, because 2016, I believe, was the year that Afrika Bambaataa stepped down. After it got really crazy. People like Hassan came out, YouTube blew up, and it started to get really crazy for him. So he was defending the hip-hop pioneer against multiple allegations of child sexual abuse. KRS-One dismissed the allegations as gossip and controversy, arguing that Bambaataa's personal actions did not diminish his legacy and that he would not abandon his friend, sparking accusations of enabling abuse. Gang, this was going on. I just told you Chuck D comes from an era where they say blood is thicker than water, thick and thin, right? Thick and thin. If you dudes fight back to back, his back there, my back here. If we fighting, we fighting. This is old school shit. Back to back. If you fighting, it's my fight. And they refuse to let you go down by yourself. And they caught KRS, and he damn sure wasn't even drinking. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think KRS-One was drinking on Drink Champs. And KRS-One is old school, right? We got a different kind of energy. Now, me, I have since, I don't know if it's like you could. I'm my own therapist, and I've since waned myself of a lot of old ways. I am a great therapist, right? And I waned myself for them ways of riding with dudes right or wrong, right? They got the old saying like if we fight, we fight, and we'll figure it out later. I'll curse you out in the house after we fight, but we gonna fight. KRS-One got that mentality. So when he went on that show and they asked him about, you got to think the emotions was still raw. He had just stepped down. There was a lot of allegations floating around, right? A lot of people, such as Hassan Campbell and this other guy Savage and others, were accusing this man of some heinous shit. And at that time, Nori and them asked KRS-One about Afrika Bambaataa. It was a hot topic. And KRS-One exploded and used all them terminologies of him being my friend, this, that, and the third, because he didn't want to believe it. We don't think somebody that is so, what do they call, a functioning spot the predator. This guy's a functioning predator, allegedly. So we think, nah, not Bam. Man, me and Bam went to Europe together. Me and Bam went to Jersey together. I used to go to Bam's house. That's my man. Not Bam. This is KRS mind state. So he lashing out. Calling it gossip. Then he said his personal actions did not diminish his legacy. I can't make it up, gang. But this is when old school meets new school and you refuse to change. KRS-One meets the new school, but he coming in with an old school mentality. Back to back fighting. Your back is my back. I got your back. Watch your front. Stepped in some shit. Let me finish reading. The key aspects of the controversy. In 2016, several men, led by Ronald Savage, accused Bambaataa of sexually abusing them when they were minors within the Universal Zulu Nation. KRS-One initially labeled the accusations, quote, less about justice and more about self-promotion and revenge, end quote. Self-promotion and revenge. Let me ask you a question. Gang. Black men in the Bronx, grown men. How much promotion are you doing saying this guy did some sexual acts on me that against my will? We got to make this make sense, dog. How many guys are self-promoting? How much are you getting? Mind you, these guys never got $1. Let's just start there. You ain't getting no rap career by saying this. So how much are you getting promotion for? And revenge? What's the revenge for, Chris? Lucy, we got some explaining to do. You know what I'm about to say, Molly girl, you in danger. Even you, KRS, even you. Let me finish. He stated on Drink Champs that he did not care about the personal allegations, saying, quote, if you keep it hip hop, nothing can be taken away from Afrika Bambaataa. It's called blind loyalty. Blind loyalty. When you don't want to believe that a person you know can do these things that they're accused of. Ronald Savage, a former member of the Zulu Nation, criticized KRS-One, calling him a poster boy for keeping rapists and pedophiles safe and a disgrace. The scandal led to Bambaataa stepping down from his leadership position in the Zulu Nation. Despite the backlash, KRS-One doubled down on his stance to not abandon his mentor, calling for separating the artist's personal life from his contribution to the culture. Gang, I am hearing this too much. Separating personal lives from the contribution to the culture. So let me get this straight, Chris. Think about what you're saying, gang. First, you went from you just out and out don't believe it. Then they're not looking for justice. It's more about self-promotion and revenge. Then you go into full-on denial and say, if you keep it hip-hop, nothing can be taken away from Afrika Bambaataa. And last but not least, you go into acceptance. And you say, let's separate the artist's personal life from their contribution to the culture. As of 2025, reports indicate Bambaataa lost a civil case regarding these abuse allegations, while a separate lawsuit regarding sexual trafficking was also filed. He lost the abuse allegation one because he didn't show up to court, if I'm not mistaken. Gang, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be in court. If I didn't do this shit, I'm going to be there, gang. Ain't no way. Mars, don't ban everybody. Some people, let them say some stuff. We're not just banning people for having a difference of opinion. If they get crazy, then they got to go. But we're not going to let people have a difference of opinion in there. That's not what we're about. We're going to have conversations, but y'all not going to be disrespectful. All right? Let me continue. It's a lot going on. But to me, I'm going to defend myself. You would have heard my big ass mouth every single morning. The morning I wake up, I'll be up every morning telling y'all niggas, ain't no way I did nothing, no such thing. And here's my new record. I would be still working. I would not be silent for years. I would go live with the accuser. There ain't no way I'm hiding for years. What happened? We lost me? I'm gone? I'm looking at the chat. Let me continue. The same thing they told Cosby. Don't say nothing. Let me continue with this article from the Rolling Stone. A lot of good information. All of us going to learn today. We're going to all learn. Lance Taylor was born in 1957 in the Bronx River Projects, a public housing community in the South Bronx, New York. His mother was Jamaican and his father was from Barbados. Gang, I don't know if y'all know. Let me just say this. Let me just be honest. I'm really not supposed to do stuff like this. Just so y'all know, right? I'm not supposed to do this. This is not what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to be down the middle, mad, freaking, like trying to walk both sides of the tightrope. I'm not doing this right. I'm giving too much of my own opinion in these videos. And I'm being way too real and critical of legends. I'm not supposed to be doing this, gang. If there's any thought about this, what I'm doing. So, yeah, it's some people that ain't gonna be too happy about this, right? We already getting a lot of black creators. Their stuff is slowing up. Subscribers is harder to get these days, and views. It is what it is. It's site-wide. It's site-wide. But I'm not ever going to change and try to conform, because my entire life was changed by hip-hop, the culture. So when I'm on here, it's for the culture. That's why anybody can get it. This is why I say what I say. I'll tell you I love you and then tell you dead ass wrong. Like I started with Chuck D. I got on KRS-One. I got on Jay-Z. This is about the culture, gang. And when these guys get in my comments about these guys, these new guys, Kanye and Drake, and they want me to take it easy on Cole, I don't take it easy on nobody, because I'm only speaking for the culture. That's why. That's why you're going to see these videos like this. It is what it is. All right, so let me continue, man. In 2014, he told Vice that his mother's record collection inspired his famously eclectic DJ sets. And I try to tell y'all that all the time. Hip hop is from a lot of different genres. Am I muted? D. Willis said I'm muted. Can y'all hear me? Let me know if y'all can hear me. Am I muted for real? Oh shit, they must have muted me. Am I good? Am I back? All right, I'm back. I guess I must have been muted for something. Oh, let me make sure ain't nothing making this audio cut out. It shouldn't be nothing doing that, so we should be good. We good? All right. So let me continue, man. I gotta watch the comments, make sure that I'm not muted or something. But it is what it is. So he wrote, I told you that hip hop is a bunch of different genres combined. It ain't just one or two, it's a bunch. Hip hop is a melting pot of a whole lot of stuff. And Bambaataa was a part of that. Let me continue. Quote, 1 minute you could hear soul like James Brown and Motown and the Stax Volt sound. And the next minute it could be African sounds like Mama Africa by Myram Makeba and Calypso and Salsa or Sal Soul Records. And then more pop sounds like Edith Piaf and Barbara Streisand to like Three Dog Night and Creedence Clearwater Revival. Gang, it's a whole plethora of sounds that make hip hop what it is. It ain't one thing, it ain't two. Much of Taylor's life is shrouded in mystery and myth. For decades, he told journalists he was Kevin Donovan, an anonymous member of the Harlem Underground Band who arranged Bambaata's debut 12-inch with Cosmic Force, 1980 Zulu Nation Throwdown. Scholars didn't confirm Bambaata's actual birth until Scholars didn't confirm Bambaata's actual birth name until 2016, when oral testimony circulated about his abuse allegations, gang. So let me just say this. This ain't an admission of guilt, this, that, and the third. But he was saying his name was a completely different name all the way up until the allegations in 2016 came out, and then they tracked down his real name. Nobody knew his real name until 2016. He also gave inconsistent dates about lives, hold on, my bad. He also gave inconsistent dates about life events prior to becoming a public figure with Planet Rock. Let me continue. Salute to the super chat for DJ Maker Say. As a youth, Taylor joined the Black Spades, one of the several street gangs active in the South Bronx in the late 60s. While attending Adlai Stevenson High School, he founded the organization with a few former Spades members that evolved into the Zulu Nation. Taylor took inspiration from a 1975 trip he made to Africa, the result of winning a UNICEF essay contest, and Zulu, a 1964 war movie where a band of British soldiers battled African warriors during the Anglo-Zulu War. So, Africa, that came from that he took the inspiration from a trip to Africa and the UNICEF essay that he wrote, and the war movie that he watched. Right. Let me continue. Taylor has said that he first began playing records for his family at house parties and gave his first professional DJ performance in 1976. It was limited to mixing records, no effects, he told the East Village Eye in 1982. Bambaataa established a reputation for dazzling parties with wild and unconventional records, as he said to East Village Eye. Meanwhile, the fledgling Zulu Nation served as his crew and security team. The latter were necessary in an environment where locals policed themselves and tried to keep unruly teenage energy from boiling over into violence. Quote, being an ex-Black Spade, Bam always had a gang of hardheads around him to make sure his parties didn't go AWOL, wrote Grandmaster Flash in his autobiography with David Ritz, The Adventures of Grandmaster Flash. Quote, they made it hard to get to the DJ table, but when I did, Bam was always nice. Bam was the kind of cat who would loan me any record he had. And them guys didn't play by loaning records back then, gang. Records were sacred. They used to do the white labels. They didn't want each other to know what the records were, because it was competition. You didn't want the other DJs. These guys' sets were very meticulous. They were very competitive. So let me continue. In 1981, Bambaataa connected with Tommy Boy Records founder Tom Silverman, who allegedly is a cat and a fiend. Let's be honest. With the De La stuff and a whole lot of other stuff, a lot of artists. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. Maybe it's not Tom Silverman, but I know Tommy Boy Records in and of itself is under a lot of scrutiny with a lot of artists saying that they didn't get this, that, and the third. And helped mix his first release, Cotton Candy's Having Fun. He also assembled Jazzy Sensation, a modest club hit with the Cryptic Crew and Zulu Nation associates like DJ Jazzy J and Bronx rap crew, the Jazzy Five. The following year came Planet Rock, a recording partly inspired by Bambaata's experiences playing to mixed audiences at the Mud Club in East Village and encountering New York's famed early 80s downtown scene that brought together punks, hip-hoppers, new wavers, and fashionistas. I keep trying to tell these guys they don't understand hip-hop. It was an eclectic mix of people from all genres and walks of life that came together in these clubs downtown. Now, I'm not talking about in the Bronx. Those are all black people, right? But when they started to push it more mainstream, right, it was an eclectic mix of people supporting it. Like Debbie Harry, who ended up making what's that song? Fat Five Freddy, da. Debbie Harry. They somebody could tell me what that was, right? I don't remember the record offhand, but we all know the damn song. All right. Rapture, right? KRS-One sampled that later and da. The rest is history, said Fab Five Freddy in the 1982 Village Voice article. The 12-inch peaked at number 4 on the Billboard Black Singles chart, barely missed the pop top 40 at number 48, and sold over 650,000 copies. That is a gold record, my friend, for a rap song that we didn't even know what rap was. It was a hip-hop song, actually, not a rap song. Meanwhile, Bambaataa helped launch Zulu Beats, a radio mix show featuring Zulu Nation proteges like Afrika Islam. Remember that Afrika Islam was rocking the jam. On the other side of town was a kid named Flat. If you're a KRS-One fan, you know that whole, the South Bronx, you know all that stuff, right? Did I say South Bronx was a diss record? South Bronx is not a diss record. It was Bridges Over was the diss record. South Bronx was just KRS talking about the Bronx. So it had Afrika Islam and DJ Red Alert on the New York station WHBI FM. In 1983, Bambaataa, the Soul Sonic Force, Baker, and Robbie reunited for 2 more 12 inches, looking for the perfect beat and Renegades of Funk, while not as groundbreaking as Planet Rock. Both certified Bambaataa as a top electro artist. He was an electro artist, gang. Doomer in the building. Let's see. As captured in the video for Planet Rock, Bambaataa and Soul Sonic Force's performances found them wearing elaborate Asiatic costumes that evoked Sun Ra and Earth, Wind, and Fire. More like George Clinton's P-Funk, Bambaataa oversaw a loose collective of Zulu Nation rappers, DJs, and musicians for his recordings. He called them his funky family. All right. Bambaata's funk ethos inspired a dizzying number of projects. He formed Shango with Bill Laswell's material and released the 1984 album Shango Funk Theology, a collection of chants and musical hooks over synthesized beats. Bambaataa and Material also collaborated in 1984's World Destruction and Anti-Nuke's 12-inch with former Sex Pistol turned Public Image Limited frontman John Lydon. He put in mad work, gang. Mad work. This is how we got here. This is where it comes from. Afrika Bambaataa was one of the ones who did it. For American hip-hop audiences, Bambaata's last major hit was Unity. Unity, peace, and love, and having fun. I believe that's the one. I could be wrong, but I think that's the song. An acclaimed 1984 collaboration with James Brown that Rolling Stone called the classic funk record of the year. During his life, Bambaataa scored 16 entries on the British chart. They love him overseas. They love all of this electro stuff, hip hop and things of that nature out of New York and other places. It all will formulate overseas. They love it in the UK. To this day, they still love hip hop the way it's supposed to be. They love different stuff. They don't like the formulaic nonsense where you just trying to get a quick buck and get on the Billboard charts and this, that, and the third. They love really organic music over there. I'm just going to be honest. Let me continue. A sign of how his music found greater acceptance in Europe than the States. As B-boys turned their attention to new school acts like Run DMC, Houdini, and LL Cool J, Bambaataa remained an important father figure. He dispensed wisdom on BET's Rap City and appeared on the cover of The Source. Public Enemy memorably shouted him out on their 1988 single, Night of the Living Bassheads. Here it is, bam, on the 91 song Vibes and Stuff by Tribe Called Quest. Q-Tip paid tribute, quote, give enough respect to Afrika Bambaataa. Gang, we were always giving respect to Afrika Bambaataa, even when he wasn't even in the game, he wasn't even making music. You were always told to remember Bambaataa, respect Bambaataa, and respect the Zulu nation. So we got to acknowledge that, right? We got to acknowledge what he did for the culture and Zulu nation, but two things can be true. Let me continue. The Universal Zulu Nation continued to sprout chapters around the world. Much of the rap was always down with the organization. Much of the rap world was down with the organization, whether due to membership, its many events, or out of admiration with its peaceful ethos and pro-Black philosophy. The organization drew inspiration from different ideologies, whether it was the Nation of Islam, the Black Panther Party, the Young Lords. Bambaataa told Vice, we dealt with 5%ers, Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, and in the Zulu Nation, our lessons can come from anyone who did their research. However, the Zulu's original Bronx chapter was targeted by New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, boo, claiming that the Zulus were a gang, despite no evidence of criminal activity. The city banned the group from housing project in 1995. Quote, I know that's a bunch of jive. Bambaataa responded in the New York Times. So they were after them for years and they were out to get them. But let's be honest, the Zulu Nation didn't play. They weren't what he was saying they were, but you couldn't play with them. Let's be honest. Let me finish. We're almost done. We're at this home stretch, gang. I know this is a lot of information, but it's very important to shape and mold who Afrika Bambaataa was and why he's important to the culture that we love, right? The culture, right? Musically, Bambaataa continued to be active, particularly with charity projects. In 1985, he joined Artists United Against Apartheid. Y'all remember that? A collective formed by Stephen Van Zandt to protest South Africa's apartheid regime. Their 1985 anthem, Sun City, ain't going to play no Sun City. I believe that might be off key, right? Y'all remember that Sun City record? Gen Zers and a couple of my Gen Xers too that don't remember. And you millennials, go play that Sun City. Apartheid was a real thing. Trevor Noah talks about apartheid, growing up in apartheid all the time. His mom he was in it. So apartheid was a real thing in South Africa. We ain't going to play no Sun City because what they used to do is get the artists, the American artists and British artists, to come and perform and entertain the people who were perpetuating the apartheid, the white people who were in power over there, that tier, right? That system of inequality where the blacks are at the bottom and the whites are at the top. The apartheid was fully strong, even well after we had established that we weren't having that here, and we abolished slavery, and we had even got the Jim Crow laws out of the way, and we had started making some headway. They still were in apartheid over there, and it was really, really bad. So they came together and made this collective, this song, to urge artists to stop performing in Sun City in South Africa until they ended apartheid, right? So let me continue. But Bambaataa's work was increasingly defined by his forays into electro breaks and house music, scenes greatly inspired by his Soul Sonic Force hits. He DJ'd at raves and festivals and collaborated with techno partners like Germany's Wes Bam and Britain's Paul Oakenfold. The latter resulted in a remake of Planet Rock for the 2001 movie Swordfish. I think Swordfish was that Halle Berry and John Travolta. I think that was a good movie. Was that the movie where they made them hack the computer in like a minute or two, or they were going to die? Some shit. Maybe that was it. I think that was the movie. They had a minute to hack it, and if they didn't, some shit. End of the day. He released the 1999 mix compilation United DJs of America, Volume 13 Electric Funk Breakdown. That same year, he presented Planet Rock, the dance album. Bambaataa earned numerous honors during his lifetime. In 2007, he was nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In 2012, he held a 3-year position as visiting professor at Cornell University, which also acquired his papers. In 2004, there it is, Hassan Campbell, gang. When I'm done, Hassan Campbell right now just went live about Afrika Bambaataa. This is a serious subject, gang, but you here with me right now. In 2014, DJ Shadow and Cut Chemist paid homage to the Bronx pioneer by mounting an international tour utilizing his famed collection, Rhythms, Renegades of Rhythm. And in 2011, Bambaataa and a group led by former DJ and record exec Rocky Bucano initiated efforts to create a hip-hop museum in the Bronx. Their efforts led to the Universal Hip Hop Museum, a multi-million-dollar mixed-use property scheduled to open in 2024. I believe it's open, and I'm going to that museum. Somebody asked me in my comments. I have not been yet, but I will. As a matter of fact, I might go this summer to the Universal Hip Hop Museum. There was a show. There's going to be a show there, and I'll probably end up at that museum, gang. But no, I have not gone yet. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me continue. When the sexual abuse allegations broke, the fledgling group issued a statement that claimed Afrika Bambaataa has not had a role at the Hip Hop Universal Museum since 2016, but he continued to appear in its marketing materials. Rumors abound that he also continued to play a role in the Zulu Nation up to his death, right? Until the end of his life, Bambaataa recorded and toured overseas, mining his interest in cosmic electric funk as the Amun-Ra of hip-hop culture. His collaborators remained unaware or kept willfully oblivious about the allegations. For much of the public, he remained the man who made Planet Rock and helped popularize a worldwide movement. Quote, "It's the Universal Zulu Nation hip hop culture anniversaries that every year each artist come to perform or to be at," he wrote in a typically enigmatic Instagram message. Or did all of you forget too quickly to be manipulated? So, gang, that's everything I can tell you about the life and career of Afrika Bambaataa. Now, all of that is amazing and great, but two things can be true. And one thing is for sure, I am not blinded by any of that. 100% not blinded by any of that. Because we got a lot of people who've done some heinous things. And they were really great at rapping, really great at singing. Some of them sitting in jail. Some of them were some really great execs that got appeals right now trying to get out of jail, right? Even Diddy did a lot for this culture, like love it or not. But guess what? Two things can be true. You can still be a heinous cad. You could be a very bad man and still have done a lot for the culture. So we can't just let you slide to the left, right? Slide to the right. Crisscross, bam, crisscross. No. Them days is done, and that's why I was so disappointed in my guy Chuck, because I told you he's loyal. These guys are loyal. They you gotta understand, this guy Bam been in power since the 70s. You had to get Bam's respect to even get respect in this culture. There are stories that if you didn't have the respect of certain people, there wasn't no way you were touching the stage. It is what it is. And with a person this powerful, they're going to be hard to pin down on stuff like that. But you heard Melly Mel, and I can't stress this enough. Melly Mel said, "We knew this since the 70s. Okay? This is a quote in the Rolling Stones. Salute the girly jock for the super chat. Happy to be amongst the honorable people that stand with the victims and don't blindly worship celebrities. Gang, this is, I just, it got to be what it is. It's crucial to use your critical thinking. Sometimes it's bogus, but that's what critical thinking is for, right? Critical thinking is always going to come into play with me. And when I tell myself, 3, 4, 5 black men from the Bronx, one of the toughest neighborhoods on earth, are going to all come out and say that someone sexually abused them. There is no upside to it. Ain't no record deal on the end of that. If I'm not mistaken, let me look this up before I say it. Let me look this up before I say it. And niggas be cracking on my typing too. Let me look this up before I say it because I'm almost certain, but I don't want to say this. He tried to commit suicide. Ronald Savage. He said, Ronald Savage in 2016 said that with the Amsterdam News, he accused Bambaataa of molesting him in 1980 when he was 15. Quote, I tried to commit suicide. I hate myself for allowing him to do what he did. I always felt that I should have done something. So I don't know the upside to that where you're trying to commit suicide. Like KRS-One said, he said that they're just looking for attention and revenge. Self-promotion is the words he used. Again, I'm not here trying to bring down anybody. Bambaataa, KRS, Chuck D, Melly Mel. I ain't trying to bring down nobody. But I'm just telling you, right? How Biggie said, I'm just telling you what he told me. Right? I'm just telling you the story as I see it. You cannot no longer know just blindly because you did all of this stuff with a craft works and the Sun City song and Unity, Planet Rock, Planet Rock. Don't stop. I got some friends when that shit come on, they start head spinning, doing all kind of shit. Not now, but they used to go crazy. Right? We all used to break down. I used to break dance. Right? But we can't just absolve you and say you're innocent just because you made Planet Rock. Just gonna be honest. And I know a lot of guys find a lot of things funny because for one, it ain't happened to them or it did. Either way, some guys think that everything's funny. That's how they cope with things. So they will get in the comments and say this, that, and the third, and crack jokes and da-da-da. Maybe Hassan Campbell ain't the right messenger. No. But at the end of the day, it's not about him. It's about Bambaataa and what he's accused of. And I don't see these guys coming out. I don't see no grown man coming out just to try to self-promote himself at the expense, not in the Bronx, gang. Okay? So it's really things that will never get answered. But all we got is the statements by people that were involved. And there's a lot of shady things. If you want to go down a rabbit hole, it's easy. You can go down a rabbit hole for 48, 72 hours and watch hundreds of videos on this shit. It's videos on top of videos. So, like they say, the truth is out there. What's that, the X-Files? So, if you want to know, you can know. But the people that's making jokes or denying this stuff, we can't acknowledge, we can't have conversations with you because you're silly and dumb. We having grown-up conversations over here. Right? We're not arguing with fools. People from a distance can't tell who is who. So no, we're not going to argue with you. CNI, I see you. Cat Williams, I see you. Zombie TV. So as we wrap it up, to me, I ain't got to say no more. I don't got to hear no more. Right? What was that? That Redman song? Chill, lock. You ain't gotta say no more. You ain't gotta say no more. At this point, if you are denying it, you just want to. If someone gives you 50 reasons why it happened and you come back with one reason and the only reason is you don't believe it, then that's on you. Nobody is disrespecting or being disrespectful tonight to Afrika Bambaataa or his legacy, but somebody got to say it. And I know sometimes they say too soon, right? It's too soon. We hear that. Sometimes they say, yeah, not now, Challz. Not now. But I'm going to be the first to tell you, let's just be honest. If someone, that's their legacy, it has to be right now. If you did any of that, even once, and they saying it was way more than once. And again, Melly Mel said everybody knew. I'm not even going to get into the details, but there's some heinous ones. Like I said, you can go down a rabbit hole. 48 hours, you're going to come out feeling mad slimy. But at least you'll know. At least you'll know what's out there. Like I tell you all the time with this Dr. Umar shit. I had somebody yesterday go on my video. I told you, they still come and tell me that I'm the problem. All the stuff we know about Umar, they still come with this blackity black shit to me. And now they just did it earlier with this guy. You're bringing down black people. Well, I'm going to call out black people. I ain't bringing down anybody. If this ain't true, then stand up and face it. Ron, salute for the super chat. Had to come and support. I appreciate the honesty this channel stands on. Everybody can get it equally. That's a fact. Salute to Ron. Appreciate you. Queen B in the building. Sam's owner. I'm really not supposed to be this honest, gang. I'm not supposed to be this real. I know a lot of opportunities have passed me by because I just don't bend. As I should. But salute to the people. I just hit 38,000 subs today, and I appreciate you. Anybody that's rocking with the channel. All right. There's a lot of things I should be doing differently, but I just never really could be fake, gang. I'm just gonna be honest. There's a time and a place for everything, but I just can't get on here and try to pretend something is not real when it is, or pretend something is real when it's fake. I just do my best. Okay. And I know a lot of people are going to be mad. I know there's going to be some people really mad at this video. It's controversial. Gang gotta be careful. I'm gonna be honest though, gang. This is the realest shit I can never tell you. When I say these things on here, I know full well that somebody could take it really mad, really bad, and want to do something. Okay? That's why I really choose my words. I try to choose them wisely. I try to choose these topics wisely because somebody's gonna be upset about what you say. So I told my wife years ago when I first started this and I first was doing videos, I'm going to go out of my way to not be disrespectful to people so that if I do see somebody out in the real world and they want to confront me and they want to get big bone and brolic about it, I don't got to be sheepish about it or scary because whatever I said, for one, I didn't disrespect you, my G, for the most part. Some of y'all I will call dumb, but for the most part, what I usually am going to be saying about you, it usually be accurate. All right. So I don't be talking nonsense and reckless shit for clicks and views. Usually what I'm going to say going to be facts. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to go all out for stuff that's not true. So at the end of the day, what's going to happen is when they come to me big bone and brolic, whatever happens at that point, it happens because, bro, at some point you and your feelings for no reason. Salute to Zombie TV for the super chat. My man, I wish I could give you 100 grand. Me too. Just click the like button and subscribe. That's all we can do. I appreciate you. All right. Now, I know it's going to be some people not happy. Right? Gang, I don't think I said nothing disrespectful, but I did say I believe the victims of this particular event. I believe that there was some impropriety. I believe that something went on, and Afrika Bambaataa has something to do. He's gone, so and nothing we could do but just conjecture and try to figure out where we stand on it. But KRS was wrong. I mean, some people gonna say he was right because he was a stand-up individual. But to blindly ride with it and then do coping, he had denial, acceptance. He lashed out, all of the traits of somebody who just doesn't want to accept it. And then he finally accepted it and then said, let's separate the personal life from the music. So end of the day, this is where we at. This is where we're gonna leave it. I think I gave you everything good about Bambaata's life. I gave the good, the bad, and the ugly. I didn't just sit here and bash the man for an hour and a half. I told you all of his musical contributions and everything he did in between this, that, and the third. And I said two things can be true. I said that he did a great thing for the culture. But you can also do bad things too. All right? I'm about to get out of here. Thanks for the super chat, Mr. God Got Me. Need more of these convos, bro. Somebody got to help balance the scales. I'm trying. I'm trying, gang. It's really hard, but I'm trying. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. A lot of people think I just do it because I'm a K-bot. I it's just because K-bot on the right side of the culture, so I align with some of the things that happen. So all of a sudden, by default, I guess I'm a K-bot. But end of the day, I know some stuff, gang. I've been in this culture before K-bot wrote his first rap. That's why I know some of these things that I'm talking about. So I didn't come on here to defend Kendrick or anybody else. I defend the culture. So that's why this channel is like it is. I could be way bigger if I played the game right. But this is how my game plays. It's more about integrity. So when people come here, they really stay here, right? They come here and they lock in. And they know when they get up here, I'm gonna do my best to be honest with you and tell you the truth. Right? We don't just blindly ride over here back to back rhyming and we just fighting because somebody said you did something. Well, let's figure out if you really did it before we start posting about how dope you are. And I'm gonna leave it at that, man. Listen, I don't know. It's no disrespect to Chuck or anybody else, but I do see my OGs kind of leaning in on some old school stuff, and they're not being objective with these things. They're aligning themselves with guys from 30, 40 years ago, and they will not acknowledge the new information. If you can't process new information, you might need to get off online. Because I'm sure Chuck D's comment section look crazy. Last time I looked, it looked crazy. Okay? You can't be afraid to step aside and either not say nothing or acknowledge the elephant in the room. But you can't tell us, be slow to judgment. Can't say that. Not in this day and age, Chuck. You can't say that. What was it? I'm gonna get the exact quote because I don't want to. My guy Chuck said, never be quick to condemn and always be slow to judge. Well, I think 1970-ish is enough time for us to formulate an opinion about how we feel about Mr. Afrika Bambaataa. All right. Salute to everybody, man. Let me plug my homeboy, man. Let me plug my guy. Head on over, man. black-yeti.com. They ship all over the continental U.S. Black owned. You know what I mean? Doing their best. You know what I mean? Girly Jock She said I'm gonna cut myself off at the end. She said I'm about to cut myself off at the end. I am going to go out of my way to not cut myself off at the end. But I do got to show you this too. If you haven't purchased one of the shirts, I'm just going to be honest. That is the QR code. If you can't get it now, get it later. Just screenshot that. And if you're on your phone, use another phone and screenshot it. Or just go to CLBMG or go to any of my pages. All my links, I have a link tree. You can even go in my YouTube bio. The link tree is there. All the merch. We got the I'm just going to be honest shirts. I'm just going to be honest hoodies. If you purchase those and you send me to the email, the what show at Gmail, after you purchase, that's the hoodie. I'm gonna go back to the t-shirt. If you purchase that, send me pictures of yourself. I will post you on all of my social media platforms. Some people send them, but most people just buy it and don't send me no pictures, and that's fine. People like, I don't want to be posted on everything, but if you do, I will post you. All right. And if you want to donate to the channel right there, that little button up there, that's the donate, the Cash App, da 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 da. Right? Right there. You can scan that, send that to your boy. It is what it is. But I didn't put this channel up for none of that. What it is I just like talking about hip-hop. I don't know if y'all know how this channel started. I was doing album reviews on another channel, my CLBMG channel. Those album reviews are still up there. And what's funny, I went to that channel yesterday, my CLBMG channel, not the CLBMG music channel. It's just called CLBMG. And I was doing album reviews. Man, some of them album reviews are from 7, 8 years ago, 9 years ago. So if you want a funny trip down memory lane, I only stopped doing those reviews probably 3 years ago. I think my latest review was 3 years ago. I think my last review was Black what's these guys? Most Def and Talib Kweli. And I got a disdain for Talib Kweli. How he carries himself on Twitter. Right? I got a disdain for that nigga. But end of the day, right? I have another channel and I reviewed what's these motherfuckers? Most Def. I'm getting tired. Hey, Most Def and Talib Kweli. Their last album. That was one of the last reviews. Oh, and the Game's last album. The one before this one. I reviewed that. I reviewed Damn on there. So if you want to get a kick out of some old shit, that old channel, Black Star. Salute the locomotion. Black Star last joint. I reviewed that and just a whole bunch of old reviews, gang. You want to get a kick out of shit? I was giving I reviewed like Cameron's old shit, just an old bunch, and I got some stories up there from when I used to do shows. I did what really happened at Slaughterhouse, what really happened at Cameron, right? Cameron no showed on us. I did what really happened at Bazaar. I did what really happened at Keith Murray. So that old channel is like it's like a time capsule. So if you wanted the old, the presentations are horrible, right? It's 9 years ago, 7 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago. So I reviewed RZA's last album that I listened to, the last Bobby Digital, which was awful. Bobby Digital, the last Bobby Digital in the Pit of Snakes, terrible album, gang. So I'm gonna leave it at that. If you interested in go lock in with that one. And it is what it is, man. I'm out of here, man. Listen, I appreciate you watching. I don't really have much else to say about Bam, but I'm sure people will be in the comments of this video with a lot to say. All right. Listen, gang, I'm out of here. I appreciate you guys. So when I hit end stream, there's a lag. So if I hit end stream,